recording. So my name is Mike Rothman. It is, what's the date today? It's August 12th, 2011, and we are at Judson Manor. And I'm talking to Louise Carpenter. So Louise, let me just ask you just to start. Did you grow up in Cleveland, or where did you grow up?
No, I grew up in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I came out here in '39 to study voice at the Church of the Covenant. I joined the Church of the Covenant, sang there as soloist, and studied voice from this, what's her name? I'll think of it. I was married here. I lived in a boarding house at 114th Street and Mayfield. A very nice, very fine place with white tablecloths. Most of the people were librarians and professors, and my sister and I lived with my aunt, who was a librarian, and I lived there until I was married. I would like to talk about some of the things on the square, if I can, okay? One of the things, the ice skating rink at 107th and Euclid was a favorite place. And there was a Hamburg place across from the Church of the Covenant by the name of Dorsal's. It was one of the first quick Hamburg places, I think, in Cleveland. Then down on the square, down on the University Circle, 105th, there was a grocery store. It was as good as the West Side Market. They had all booths, different things, and we dealt there for all the time I was married and my mother-in-law. It was a very good place to buy food, 105th Market. There were movie houses and a Bailey store on 105th, and doesn't look like anything that does now today with the big state building. On the campus, at the corner of Bellflower and Ford, where the university building is, there was a Deke fraternity club. And the Deke boys had to cross the campus. And we thought this was great. There are all kinds of changes on the campus. There were 3 houses on Bellflower across from the May campus that 2 professors or presidents of the Case and Reserve lived, and then the music house where I spent most of my time.
So, how old were you when you were spending time?
I was 18. I finished high school and came out here to school.
So when you would go ice skating or to the hamburger shop, you would go out with your girlfriends, or?
Well, we used the skating rink as a kind of a place to rush girls in our first sororities.
Oh, you were in a sorority, okay.
At 107th. It was a great skating rink. It was an addition to the area. A lot of fraternity houses were on Bellflower, which are now up on the new campus and up on Little Italy. What else do you want to know?
So what was sorority life like? What else did you guys do?
Well, our sororities were local. They weren't national, so we. I had a lot of other things. There are a lot of different changes. The big building that's across from the Harkness Chapel, which is the big modern.
Yeah, the Gary building. Sure.
And as I said, the music house is gone.
Mm-hmm.
what other? Oh, there are 3 houses on Euclid Avenue across from the Church of the Covenant, which were used as university houses. One was for the medical students to go, or students to go when you needed medical help. And I had had my legs broken my senior year in high school, and my one leg began to bow out. And I went to this house where we got medical help, and 4 doctors could here, something besides a cold. And I went into the university hospital. I had to drop out of college for a semester, and went in and had my leg redone. That was the reason. My senior year in high school was a result of my singing. I was in the choir from the church, and we were singing on Christmas Eve for the shut-ins. And we were going down the main street of the town, and the car, just 3 of us were sitting in the back, boy on either side of me, and he didn't stop and drove right into us.
Oh my goodness.
So it changed my life a little bit around that time. There are lots of changes in the university. Of course, the university hospital, the big building across from the church, is the big cancer building.
Did you like it better back when you were growing up?
Pardon?
Did you like it better? Do you think it was a better neighborhood back when you were growing up there?
Well, I just grew up with all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Have been singing in the choir at the church all these years as a soloist, and it's just the university has grown up around us.
Yeah.
The boarding house where I lived, there were mostly librarians, I said professional people, and professors, and the waiters were graduate students, men. And that was fun for me and my sister, because she had a party at the end of every year, and we had these wonderful graduate students to dance with. The boarding house had places to live, but you didn't cook. You had to eat your meals in the dining room.
Huh.
So
And that was on Euclid?
that was on 114th and Mayfield. There were 3 gray frame houses facing Mayfield at 114th and Mayfield. And then 2 apartments on 114th that were apartments but with no kitchens.
Okay.
And it was quite an establishment, a nice place to live.
And that's not still standing, is it?
Pardon?
Is that still standing?
Pardon?
Is it still standing?
No, the houses that were faced Mayfield were torn down, and is now the cancer center,
Okay, sure.
a big cancer. Case and Reserve were separate schools, and their big football game was on Thanksgiving, and now it's all one school. And my husband went to Case, and most of his friends in this case are Mr. Nord and they've all given money and been good for the school. What else do you need to know?
Did you go to the football game?
I didn't go to the football games, but my brother-in-law did.
Okay.
He played football, so he was.
Did you continue to visit, as an adult, did you continue to visit University Circle?
Well, I lived there until I was married.
Okay.
And so I knew a lot of people and things that went on around there. My first ticket to the orchestra was 25 cents. That was back in '39. And my first driver's license in Pennsylvania was 25 cents. And I kept renewing my license, and so I never had to take an exam all those years. The Cleveland Sight and Hearing and Speech was on the entrance to the University Hospital, and it was torn down, and is now on Euclid Avenue. And one of the big deals for the casemen when I was in school was to take the trolley thing off the trolley that went around the wires. Now it's all buses.
So that's how you got around then, by trolleys?
Pardon?
That's how you got around, that's how you guys got to where you needed to go?
Well, we didn't drive cars then, and at least I didn't have a car in school, and the streetcars were in the middle of the street where you stood and got splashed and now it's all buses that go every 5 minutes. The music house was where I spent most of my time because I majored in music and voice. And when I graduated, my maiden name was Gingery, and then the dean still couldn't pronounce my name. So I don't know what that meant.
Did you see music? Did you go to see concerts or shows around University Circle?
I went to Eldred, if that's what you mean.
Well, what's that?
Eldred was the theater department at Adelbert.
Okay.
And Eldred Hall was in one of the buildings on the Delbert campus. Okay. And the chapel at Adelbert is a very nice chapel. We sang there. Most of my time I was with boys in law school. The law school was on Cornell and is now on the corner, it's no longer there, and is now on the corner of Ford and East Boulevard.
Yeah, sure, I've been by there.
Across from the museum. And the art school is where the music house used to be.
Okay.
Art school is on East Boulevard and Bellflower. So there's lots of changes. I remember one morning I was going over to vocalize at the music house, and these two professors, the university presidents, were starting out to walk across to Adelbert. And I said, "Good morning," and they said, "Good morning," and I said, "You're out early, aren't you?" And they said, "Well, we have to get out early before you people start up at the music house to vocalize." That was Dr. Leutner and I forgot their case man. And of course, when case and reserve combined, that was a big deal. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Yeah, are there any other memories or any other stories? Any other things you like to do for fun?
No, I had a very happy time. I married a man that belonged to the Covenant, and the girls grew up with the Covenant, and we were a Covenant family, and I was married there. So I feel very close to the circle. Some changes, okay, some are not. And of course the museum is just fantastic. Well, it's so big. I have a daughter who was very involved there, and now I end up right here on the University Circle here in Judson, and I'm very happy here.
Yeah.
It couldn't be better.
That's good. Well, Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, the main thing is that the skating rink, there was a house on 100 Euclid Avenue and 107th, on the corner across from the skating rink. It was an old building, brick, and there was a tea room there, and it was an honest to goodness tea room. Very elegant place to go and have a cup of tea. I don't know who ran it, but it's gone, and it added to the 105th area. And again, I say the market was a great place to buy good groceries.
So how often did you go there to the market?
Well, my mother-in-law bought all of her things, her groceries there, and when I was married and started a household, I bought all mine. And then one of them dealers was Mr. Scrow, and I followed him. I don't know where he is now, but anyhow, they played up to you if you bought nice things, good meat. And I guess it's no longer there, the 105th Market.
Yeah, now it's just the West Side Market is the big one.
Oh, one of the things that I was impressed with was the new dorm on 117th Street, and behind the dorm is the big athletic field. And one time I was invited up to the place on the hill, Judson, and I sat with some students, and one of the boys was a football player. And he said, "Won't you come? I play football. Won't you come to the game?" And I said, "I'll try to get there." And I said to my daughter, "Will you take me?" And she said, "I hate football, but I'll take you." So we went, and by George, he told us what his number was on his shirt, and we found him, and he came from Columbus, and his parents came up for most of the team when they played football. He was a very nice young man. I don't know his name, but I knew this hotel when it was a hotel before it was ever anything else.
Really? Can you tell me about that?
Well, I did not frequent this place. There were dances, but I was beyond the dancing deal. And anyhow, I couldn't dance anyhow with my legs broken. But it was an elegant place to come and stay. Now it's Judson Manor.
It's still very elegant. Just looking around, it's still
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's been kept up, and it's very nice, and we're all glad to be here. After my husband died, I decided that I didn't want to play cards all the time. And by then I had 2 daughters, so I was a social worker at Lawrence Crittenden, and then I went to the AARP, so I had kind of a full life.